Hello to all my friends, brothers, sisters, all Prabhujis, Matajis. Hare Krishna to you. This is Anuragam Vats, Anand Bihari Krishna Das. I would be talking to you how Bhagavad Gita is applicable in our life. How I see Bhagavad Gita, what has changed my thought process about Bhagavad Gita. I take personally as Bhagavad Gita as a way of life. Now, when I say a way of life, then you must be thinking that if Bhagavad Gita is a way of life, then it has to be linked with our day-to-day happenings. If it doesn't link to the activities, to the actions, to the reactions, to our karmas, to our duties, what we perform, then it is not. And if it is, then it is a way of life for which I will be talking to you. But then, this will not be a one episode video. It is a journey. It is my spiritual journey. How I came to this and how I accepted this as a way of life. So before I start, I request you all to please subscribe my channel so that in future all the notifications can be received by you. You can also visit my website www.anuragamvats.in. Now with this, I'll come to this point that how Bhagavad Gita is a way of life. Not to do anything, I would like to make this episode as a foundation. If you make a building, I myself am a mechanical engineer, but okay, I also studied some part of civil engineering. If you do go for a big building, you should have a good foundation. So this episode of mine would be a foundation. How I say that Bhagavad Gita is a way of life. Now with this, I start with everyone's permission. Now, before I start, you must be thinking, what am I going to speak? What is this person going to speak? So please park all your questions in your mind or jot it down, and I would try to answer to the best of my capacities. So please write down all the expectations that you have from this journey of Bhagavad Gita, a way of life. I would like to ask, how many of you have read Bhagavad Gita? And those who have read Bhagavad Gita, do you agree to me that it is applicable in today's world also? Because those who have not read the Bhagavad Gita, they must be thinking that Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna at Kurukshetra, and the knowledge was given to Arjuna, who was in a confused state of mind. Though he being a soldier, he could not decide whether to fight or not. So, if it was spoken 5,000 years ago, how it can be applicable in today's world? Today's world is a digitization world. We are into various social platforms. various media forms. So how it can be applicable? 5,000 years ago, someone taught us, and we said it is applicable. It is changed. It cannot. It cannot. Must be thinking. But I say, it is. It is. It is. And it will be. It will be. It will be forever. Forever. Now with this, to find whether it is a practical book in today's life, whether it is applicable to today's life, and if it is applicable, then obviously it is a way of life. So let's start our journey. Now, before I start, you must have heard two words. One is ritual, other is spiritual. There are many people must be thinking the Bhagavad Gita is a religious book. Why should I read it? But then, those who have read, can you say that it is a religious book? According to me, no, it is not. It doesn't talk about any religion. If you read Bhagavad Gita right from the first page to the last page, it does not talk about any religion. So if it does not talk about any religion, it is not a religious book. Now the next point. Is it a ritual? It is a spiritual. Now, to understand whether it is a ritual or spiritual, first let us try to understand what is ritual. I will not go into depth of rituality. But then, what is really ritual? Ritual is a religious or a solemn ceremony consisting of series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. So we have various activities we perform in a very systematic way, in a serial way, to perform an activity, to complete the whole activity, when all activities come together. Now, the purpose of ritual is, it gives a direction, it gives a purpose. So we have a life fundamental principles in our life. So, and when it comes to ritual, we are serious about it. Then we say maybe that, don't do this thing. Someone will get annoyed, God will get annoyed. So maybe we say God fearing. It makes us God fearing. Now then, what is spiritual? Spiritual is self-realization. We have to understand, who am I? You have to realize that it is not a set of activities. If you see a person who's spiritual, who know himself, who has achieved the level of self-realization, would be a very kind person, would be loving everyone, would be an introvert. Generally, spiritual people are introvert. They are very broad-minded. They are very open-minded. They are very kind-hearted people. Their mind is always ground. उड़ते नहीं हैं. They are detached with attachment. I say they are attached with detachment. And say you are talking about attachment, you are talking about detachment. How can a person be attached and how can same person be detached? Yes. You have to be attached to your work, but you cannot be attached to the result. You cannot say, I have done it. You perform those work, your duty, your karma, as per your duty. But you get detached. Don't have association with it. But you have to be attached to give the best result. I can say, for all young people, fall in love. When I say I am falling in love, I'm in love. I'm in love for the first time I've seen her. That is attachment. But I say love all, but don't be in love. everyone has given this message that we need to love all. We all are one. We all are brothers and sisters. We need to love all. But don't get attached to a person, to a material. I'm attached to my laptop. I'm attached to my mobile. What attached? Do you think if the mobile is not, I'm going to die? I'm going to die? It's not. So, attachment is not so important. Rather, detachment is more important. So we have talked about spirituality, we have talked about actuality, and if I say that a person is spiritual, I can say that spirituality is a way of life. Now, if I say spirituality, I say self-realization, then first, foremost, basic thing is we need to understand who am I. Have you all ever given this thought? Who am I? I'll give you an example of myself. I told you in the starting of the video that I am Anuragam Vats. This is the name which is given by my parents, and it is on the records right from my standard 10th or certificates, which is we prove it for our birth, name and date of birth. Spiritually, I told you my Guru Maharaj has given me a name, Anandi Bihari Krishna Das. So I'm spiritually, I'm this. My mother calls me by my nickname, Chunu, which she gave me right the day I was born. My friends at school and college calls me Bihari because I belong to Nalanda district. I belong to Bihar Sharif. In fact, I belong to a village, Murora, in Bihar Sharif, Nalanda district. So as it is in Bihar, so I was known as Bihari. So right from my schooling and my college life, I have been called as Bihari. But my juniors used to call me Vats. My colleagues in my office, they call me Anurag or Anuragam. Imagine, I'm having so many names. In this one particular life, I have been given so many names. So I've been tagged by different names. But imagine, till the time I'm here, I'm talking to you, I have so many names. Suppose I die. Will people call me Anuragam Vats? Will people call me Anand Bihari Krishna Das? Will people call me Bihari? No. They will call me a dead body. So the question comes again, who am I? Is Anuragam Vats a finger? Is Anuragam Vats a nail? Is 2 eyes? Nose? Then what? Is it a soul? But then if it is a soul, then this life I am having so many names. In our previous life also I was having so many names. So this soul is also not known as Anuragam Vats. So when this soul is there in this particular body, I am known as Anuragam Vats or Anandi Bihari Krishna Das. So I am having different names in one life and many n number of names in my all previous birth. So can I say I am practically a soul? And for this life I am tagged by different names. So this same soul is tagged by different names. If you all agree to this, then I will come to a point which turned my thoughts, which enlightened me, which gave me a spark to think life in a different way. Otherwise, I'm also a product of a very good school, public school. I'm a product of a CBA school. I've done my engineering from Bharati Vidyapeeth. I'm MBA Finance, working in a professional company. But then, how did I get to spirituality? And still I'm doing it. I'm doing all my work. I'm doing my duties. I'm performing my karmas. But then what made me? Yes, we need to understand. When I first read Bhagavad Gita, the first shloka, it says, Dharma Kshetri, Kurukshetri, Samveta, Yutsava, Mamka, Pandava Shiva, Kim Kurvataya, Sanjaya. These are the words spoken by Dhritarashtra to his secretary Sanjay. You know that Dhritarashtra was blind. So Sanjay was given a divine eyesight and he was explaining what is happening in the whole of the Kurukshetra. So Dhritarashtra asked, what he asked in detail, I'll go later on that. Before that, again a foundation. This is a foundation course. So what did help me, or the spark which helped me to change my thought that about Bhagavad Gita, that it is not religious, it is a spiritual book. In fact, it is a way of life. It has two words, Kurukshetra and Dharmkshetra. So let us talk about Kshetra. Kshetra is a battlefield. We all agree to it. Krishna says very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, which we know in the later, or you must be knowing, that he says that he resides in everyone's heart. So Krishna is here in our heart. He is residing. So Gita is a metaphor for what happens in our own heart each day. And then our actions and decisions made by our body, mind, senses and intelligence. I'll repeat. By body, mind, senses and intelligence. Either become a reflection of heart is portraying of Dharmkshetra or Kurukshetra. So it portrays what we have. Now let us try to understand. We know that there was a chariot. How the chariot is linked to our body. How Krishna is linked to us. How Arjuna is linked to us. So now inner conscience, we have conscience, we have inner conscience. We say that we are speaking from inner conscience of my heart, right? It is a very general word. So inner conscience is very, very pure. So that I say I'm truthfully speaking. You will not say. I'm saying speaking from my heart. I'm speaking from my inner conscience of my heart. It's okay, it might be true. Speaking from inner conscience of his heart. So that is the Kshetra. Now, there are 5 senses what we have, and there were 5 horses, the chariot. Tongue, which we use for speaking and eating. Nose for smelling. Hand to feel or to touch. Eyes for seeing. Ears for hearing. And there were 4 wheels of the chariot. In our body we have 4 limbs, 2 hands, 2 legs. There were reins of horses. So mind is a reins of our chariot, horses. We have talked about horses, those 5 senses. So mind is the rain. Arjuna is confused. So intelligent is confused. You will agree to this. Now can I say in a very, very simple way that the chariot itself on the cover represents our body and is being raised by the powerful forces, those are our senses, which can be controlled by the reins, that is the mind, in the hands of our intelligence, which must be towards self or divine words or the driver. And driver was who? We all know that the driver of the chariot was Lord Krishna. Within the chariot, so we have talked about within the chariot, but then try to understand a bit more. That if and when our intelligence, which is probably defected by confused Arjuna on the chariot, gets often swayed away by hundreds of Kauravas, and in our life we have many distractions. We have many Kauravas in our life. There were 100 Kauravas, we have a number of Kauravas with which we are having fight. So we need to be very, very careful in our day-to-day life. So Kauravas and Pandavas are all within ourselves. And if we realize that Kauravas, Pandavas, Krishna, Arjuna, the chariot, everything is here in this body, my soul, my mind, my intelligence, my senses, then I think you would agree that yes, Bhagavad Gita talks about a way of life. But then, this is just the first stage that I am saying that Bhagavad Gita is a way of life. It is just the beginning. Till the time I come with my new YouTube channel episode, please give a thought on this. If you have any queries, you can write down to me on anuragamvats@yahoo.com, and I once again request you to subscribe to this channel and visit my website. Till then, thank you for having a patience and listening. Till then, wish you a good luck, happy life, safe life, enjoyable life, successful life, peaceful life. With this, thank you. Hare Krishna to all. Hare